3, 2, 1. Happy New Year's! Oh, am I too late? Well, regardless, New Year's is approaching, which means new resolutions and another year of life. However, for others, New Year's hasn't been a good time, and instead a time where they have encountered ghosts and mysterious creatures. So today I did the digging and found the most interesting yet terrifying New Year's stories ever. I'm your host Andrew, and here are your top 10 scary New Year's stories you wish you didn't know. At a number 10 spot, we have real decapitation. On New Year's Eve in Oldsmar, Florida, a shocking and gruesome crime was reported to the police. Mario Gomez called 911 to report that his brother, Christian Gomez, had just decapitated their mother with an axe. When responding deputies arrived at the scene, they found the body of 48-year-old Maria Suarez Casagni outside the Tampa area home, with her head in a nearby garbage can. You could only imagine what this would have looked like for the people who discovered it. But the story gets even more disturbing. Later, Christian Gomez was found on a bike about a mile from the home and taken into custody. And according to the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, he admitted to the murder and has been charged with first-degree murder. The motive behind the crime was reportedly the younger Gomez's frustration with his mother's nagging over moving boxes into the attic over the previous 2 days. It's a shocking and unimaginable reason for such a violent and tragic act to take place. This incident serves as a reminder of the potential for violence and tragedy to occur at any time, even on a festive holiday like New Year's Eve. At a number 9 spot, we have the woman in red at Drake Hotel. On New Year's Eve in 1920, the Drake Hotel in Chicago was the place to be for the wealthy and the famous. As the newly built hotel opened its doors to host a celebration to remember, attendees from all over the world flocked to the event, excited to see the luxurious building and ring in the new year. But little did they know, one of the guests would be a part of history that night, a haunting history that has lasted over a century. According to the legend, a man and his fiancée were at the party. The fiancée, dressed in a vibrant red gown, caught her husband being disloyal and was torn apart by the betrayal. In a fit of rage and sadness, she threw herself from the 10th floor window, ending her life. At the time, it was thought that the tragic incident was the end of the poor woman's story. However, multiple sightings of an apparition in a red dress have been reported at the hotel since this incident. Some say that she is intent on replaying her final night, as she is seen typically wandering the 10th floor where she took her own life. She is also seen spotted roaming the hallways, seemingly unaware that she passed away over a century ago. It seems that sometimes a truly heartbroken just can't let go. And at the Drake Hotel, the ghost of the woman in the red dress serves as a haunting reminder of the power of love, loss, and a heartbreak. At a number 8 spot, we have Peeping Tom. On New Year's Eve in Vestavia Hills, Alabama, a couple got the shock of a lifetime when they spotted a nude man wearing a presidential mask creeping into their driveway. The man was completely naked, apart from wearing a Ronald Reagan rubber mask on his head and a sock covering his private parts. When the homeowners Danielle and Bart Yancey spotted him, the man quickly ran away. The disturbing incident was captured on the couple's home security video and later posted to Facebook as a warning to neighbors and the community. But the story gets even more bizarre. When the Yanceys called 911 and Vestavia Hills police arrived on the scene, they're unable to locate the naked man. It's not clear what his intentions were or what he was planning to do, but the Yanceys are understandably concerned about his behavior and want their neighbors and the community to be aware and stay safe. The police revealed another call around the same time about a teenager streaking through the neighborhood in the direction of Vestavia Hills Baptist, where it's known that kids often hang out. However, they're unable to locate the streaker as well. Today, this is a mystery that just could be a prank or it could be a man with mental illness. Who knows? Regardless, what a picture. At our number 7 spot, we have the Chirping Noise. On New Year's Eve, Reddit user Sarcastic Wolf and a group of 4 friends decided to spend the night in a tent near the woods. As they were hanging out and playing music, they heard a very odd chirping noise outside of the tent. They turned off the lights and music to listen, but the noise didn't return. However, a few minutes later, they heard it again, much closer to the tent. The Reddit user then suggested it might be a skinwalker, since they are known to mimic the voices of friends and make noises to lure their victims in. Her friends were visibly scared, but they tried to play it cool and they all suggested that it just might be a screamer firework. The group carried on for a few minutes, trying to forget about the terrifying chirping noise, but then they heard it again, and this time it was even closer. They were all scared, and one of them called their older brother to come hang out with them for a while. While he was there, the chirping noise stopped completely, cause perfect timing, right? After all these false alarms, they decided it was okay to take a stroll through the forest, but they decided to bring a knife just in case. Eventually, they all went to sleep, but the Reddit user woke up to the tripping noise once again. This time, it was right outside of his fence, and they could feel the presence of whatever was making the noise. She grabbed the knife and prepared to defend herself and her friends, but just as suddenly as it started, the tripping noise stopped and the presence disappeared completely. The group never found out what the tripping noise was, but they all left the woods at night shaken and terrified by their experience. At our number 6 spot, we have the creature. It was New Year's Eve, and Reddit user Hillblazer310 and a few friends had been out at a party, drinking and smoking a bit. They left the party at around 2:30 in the morning and pulled into the resident parking lot outside of the Reddit user's condo complex to finish off a blunt. As they were smoking, a man and a high school girl appeared from a cliff, and they seemed to be walking down this road. A few minutes later, and the high school girl walked through the parking lot and up to the main street, but then came running back. When she was running back, she looked very spooked. She ended up pointing up the street, but there was nothing in sight. So this is when the rest of the people tried to be heroes and investigate further up the street. As they walked up the street, they saw something that looked like a naked person, but wasn't quite human, which was just waddling down the street towards them. It made a throaty gurgling noise and moved as though it was half squatting, with its hands dragging around the ground. The Reddit user and his friend Max couldn't make out its face, yet they were both terrified, and all they could do was turn and run back to the street as fast as they could. The user ran into her house and locked the door, while Max ran to the car with the others. The user never found out what the strange creature was, but the experience left her and her friends shaken and terrified. Ever since, the incident has stayed with her, and she still thinks about it, even though it happened over a year ago. In the hump for a list, we have the Phantom Texter. On New Year's Eve, a group of friends were hanging out at a party when they started receiving mysterious texts from a number they didn't recognize. The text said, quote, "Yo, I'm outside," and when they replied, they received a message back saying, "Turn around." At first, the friends suspected that someone was trying to prank them, but as the night went on, the text became more unsettling and timely. The sender claimed to have been inside of the house, and later when one of the friends was driving home, the sender told them that they were driving the wrong way and made reference to their detours. The sender also seemed to have some knowledge of the group's movements and the fact that they were all together. The friends were shaken by this experience, and one of them even slept over at the friend's house instead of going home. It is not clear who the sender was or what their intentions were, but the timing and accuracy of the text were unsettling and left the friends feeling uneasy. It's impossible that the sender was simply trying to play a prank on them, but the level of detail and the fact that the text seemed to anticipate the group's movement made it more sinister. Many have claimed it was a hacker that tapped into a webcam or even someone stalking them from the home. Regardless, this is one of the worst New Year's experiences you could have. At a number 8 spot with the Shanghai Disaster. On New Year's Eve in Shanghai, a devastating stampede occurred on the iconic riverfront promenade known as the Bund. It ended up killing 36 people and injuring another 49. The stampede happened at 11:35 p.m. local time when large crowds tried to reach the Bund, clashed with others attempting to leave on a staircase. Most of the victims were in their 20s, with the youngest being only 12 years old. Of the injured, 3 remained in serious condition. An investigating team blamed various government agencies in the district, whose jurisdiction includes the Bund. They said local officials were ill-prepared for the crowds and mishandled the aftermath. The investigating team singled out the district police department for severely underestimating the crowd size, which had reached over 310,000 people by midnight, and only assigning 600 officers and other security personnel to the area. In response to the tragedy, 3 top district officials were fired and 11 officials faced punishment for their role in the incident. The vice mayor expressed the city's deep sadness and guilt over the incident, offering condolences to the victims and apologies to their family, as well as the injured and their family. The tragedy has left a lasting impact on the city and its residents as they continue to grapple with the devastating loss and the realization that the stampede was totally preventable. Number 3, Australian New Year's. 2017 New Year's celebrations in Australia turned to tragedy as 2 men died in firework-related incidents and another man fell to his death. In the New South Wales Central Coast, a 52-year-old man was hit in the head by a firework while attempting to light it at the Budgewoi beach. Despite the efforts of friends and emergency services at the scene, he could not be revived. Then in Holland's Landing, east of Melbourne, a 46-year-old man passed away after being injured by fireworks. The incident occurred near Ray Street, where officers were called to the scene around 9:35 p.m. In addition to these fatalities, 2 people were treated for their facial injuries caused by fireworks. As well, a man in his 20s suffered facial burns when he was hit with a firecracker in Druin, and a teenager was hit in the face with fireworks in South Morang, both in Melbourne. As well in Cobram, northeast Victoria, 3 men in their 20s were taken to the hospital after an aerosol can exploded on fire. Incidents have sparked concerns about the safety of firework use all over Australia and will always serve as a reminder of the dangers of fireworks and the importance of being careful when using them. But what I can say is 2017 New Year's in Australia was truly devastating. At number 2 spot, we have mass shooting. On New Year's 2017, a shocking tragedy occurred at the New Year's Eve party in the Brazilian city of Campinas. A gunman, later identified as 46-year-old Sidney Ramis, stormed the party and began firing, killing a total of 11 people, including his former wife and 8-year-old son. Survivors of the attack reported that the shooter jumped over a fence surrounding the house, burst through the door, and started shooting while berating his former wife for taking their son. It is believed that the man's motive for the shooting was anger over the recent split with his wife Tamara, and 3 other partygoers were hospitalized following the shooting. In this case, the shooter used a 9mm pistol and had 2 additional clips, extra ammunition, a knife, and explosives in his possession. It is not known if the man had a history of violence or if he had previously threatened or harmed his former wife, and we'll probably never know. And this was surprising because although Brazil is known for its high homicide rates, they are not known for mass shootings, so this one definitely shocked many people. At a number 1 spot, we have angry homeowner. On New Year's Eve 2016, a shocking incident occurred at a private party in a gated community in Cypress, Texas. The party, which was invite only, had an estimated 200 guests and took place in a community known for its tranquil lifestyle and private airport, where many of the homeowners had small planes and hangars on their properties. Talk about the rich life. According to the witnesses, the shooting occurred when a drunk guest at the party refused to leave and began fighting with the 48-year-old homeowner. The homeowner claims he had no other choice but to shoot the guest, who was pronounced dead at the scene. The homeowner had given a detailed statement to authorities and had been cooperative with the investigation, while the identity of the person shot had never been revealed. The incident has left many in the community stunned, as it was a place known for its peaceful atmosphere and lack of crime. Well, these are the top 10 scary New Year's stories you wish you didn't know. Do you guys have any stories from New Year's, especially some haunting ones? Let me know in the comment section below, but don't forget to like and subscribe this channel for some more content. I'm your host Andrew, and I hope you guys have a scary day.